Well, welcome back to The View from Under the Bus, living beyond chronic pain and enjoying a full life. There's other things that are easy that people are willing just to run over and do or take care of. But sometimes we just have to sit and realize what those are. We do it without thinking.
Mhm.
So it's those kind of things. What are some other things that are obvious that you need to ask for help?
Yeah, of course, getting things ready, the checklist, like mine is going to be another knee surgery, which will actually be the third knee on my right side. So I'm pretty familiar with what needs to happen. I need to have a cane ready. I got to have my walker ready. I've got to have the raised toilet seat, just simple stuff. Make sure there's plenty of toilet paper on hand. You don't want to have to send somebody to the store to buy that for you. Plenty of food, comfort food, all the comfort items, clothes, lay out some clothes, blankets, pillows, anything that you might need to keep you in that comfort zone. And me, I'm a big proponent of ice, and they always send you home with the ice machine, but I have additional ice that I keep in the refrigerator because I have other areas of my body that hurt, especially when I sit for a prolonged period of time. Heating pad, extension cords, just all your cords for your phone, and just all that stuff, getting all those things ready so that you don't feel like, even though you've asked somebody to help, they're not at your beck and call for every little thing, that. But it all adds up in the course of a day.
That is true. And I think it's almost making a checklist and maybe looking around the house. Is my charger from my phone, is it long enough so I don't have to reach down for it?
Right. Yeah.
We're used to doing that when we're feeling okay.
Yeah.
But you can't crawl between the seat and the table when you got your leg up
Right.
on. So it's recognizing those little things so you don't have to ring that silver bell that says, can you come help me?
Right.
Because sometimes if you're by yourself, there's nothing you can do. I think the other thing is to maybe have a go-to list person that they're just willing to do something, like get you a gallon of milk when you're out of it. The other thing is you have jobs that you do around the house that your wife can't do. You got to find somebody to help you with that, because some things can wait and some things can't.
Yeah. And that list of people, whether it would be from, your church or, club that you belong to, friends, and, maybe just a little side note as to, what kinds of things that they help with, because you don't know. And, just making that as streamlined as can possibly happen. The ones you really don't want to think about, but you need to do is, making sure that, things in your safe or your important papers are signing titles, making sure that, important papers are readily available, have some cash on hand, in that eventuality that you need to pay somebody for services rendered, those kinds of things.
That's a really good point. And I think that we don't like to think about maybe a turn on regular things. but it's being responsible.
It just goes on and on. If you have pets, your vet, in the eventuality, where would you want them to go? If you need to board those pets, if one of them gets sick, pay your bills ahead of time. Just making it as easy as possible for the people around you. And that's going to be helpful, because then you can sit and visit and just relax and heal up. That's what it's all about. Don't stretch it, don't push it. You got enough going on right now without pushing the boundaries. Now's the time to probably stay inside the box.
Yeah.
Or at least try to find the box.
Well, that's true. And remember, the doctors have done this before. They know what works, what doesn't work. You stay within their guidelines, follow their instructions. You don't need to reinvent the wheel, because they've traveled this road before. So if they say therapy 3 times a week, then it's therapy 3 times a week if you want to get better.
Yeah. And that's a good point that I just thought of. And something that I learned early on is, they prescribe the pain medication. And one of the doctors explained it to me extremely well, that, the pain medication does a couple of things. It takes away the pain, but it also allows the body to heal. That it's important to take that pain medication because that takes the stress away from your body and allows that healing process to take place. And, to take it for as long as, what they prescribe, and, of course, being safe with all of that, and, adhering to their instructions. But, being a he-man and, saying that, yeah, I only took a half of a pill, and that was, because they forced it down my throat. That just doesn't cut it, because all it does is, I think, prolong that healing process. Use it. It's there. That's what it's for. And moving off into the Tylenol and whatnot after that is the way to go. But don't be afraid to use what they've provided.
I think one part of following the instructions with the medication is the intervals when to take it. But it's also, it relieves the pain. It brings the healing, because you're at rest.
Yeah.
When you're in pain, your body's under stress. So the doctors want your body to be relaxed so that it can heal. And they know the right intervals for the pain medication to work, so that your body can rest, to bring about that. It creates that environment for your body to be better, keep the blood pressure down, all kinds of stuff, because pain generates a lot of effects within the body. And that's part of doing what the doctors tell you to do. You had made a point about, doing the obvious and not so obvious things. But one thing that might be surprising is you talked about paying your bills and getting all that under control, and making sure that this and that. You might want to stock your refrigerator with stuff that you will know that you want. Yeah. And, I like this kind of creamer, or I want these cookies or whatever. And, and so you get that kind, and it helps your own emotions to get ready for what lies ahead. The other thing that you talked about, which I thought I didn't even think of, was get a haircut for a guy.
Yeah. Trim your beard, what have you. You don't want to go all haggard looking. People start treating you like a bum. But yeah, and the one thing I didn't put on my list that I thought of is, make sure that you've got all the prescriptions that you're going to need for your blood pressure medication and all that, because, you know, needing to do that in the midst of recovery, it'll make your blood pressure go up. So yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. And it's just, you know, it may seem like really obvious things, but when you're getting things ready, as you know, like even on a trip, once you're on the way, you're going, I forgot to take that. And it's sometimes it's just making a little checklist, and you can make a checklist. What personal things do I need? What household things do I need to get ready? What outdoors things do I need to get ready? And so you can kind of categorize it and allow yourself to go through the process. And just to give yourself that planning so that you can relax a little bit through the process.
Yeah. Yeah, those process. I know the second knee that I got on that side, they surprised me with 6 weeks non-weight bearing. I thought I was going to be up and going within a week or two. And, you know, I had to put a lot of things into place in a short amount of time. And, you know, I was not happy. And it was extremely inconvenient. So the more I could do, or the more that you can do up front, the better.
And I think that when you talk about non-weight bearing, that sets another whole set of planning and preparation into place, which for many, if you haven't gone through it before, you need to have some things around you. One thing that just came to my mind was wipes to clean your hands. You can't get up and run into the bathroom. It's a production to get up and do that. Have wipes there, have tissues there. You know, so you begin to think about the process of what am I going to need if I'm going to be in this chair 4 hours at a time? What's going to have to be around me, or what do I need to have in the morning brought to me? Could be 3 bottles of water. It could be, you know, I need to change my books on Tuesday because I've gone through them, whatever. But you begin to think about what's going to make me comfortable as I sit in this chair.
Yeah.
And those, you know, just simple things like that can alleviate a lot of anxiety and frustration.
Yeah, absolutely. As to what's going to work best, and then actually doing it.
That's always the second step to the whole process. And it's good. And I hope that everybody that's watching this is, you know, recognizes that chronic pain has a lot of intricacies to it. You will have other surgeries. You will have procedures. There are things that you have to plan for, and it doesn't mean anything other than you're prepared. And it's all part of getting beyond and living.
Yeah. You know, that touches on something we talked about a couple of weeks ago. And it's when you've lived with a pain, or, you know, pain in general, which, you know, I've got chronic pain, and then there's, you know, the other things that come along like the knee. And you know, when you're prepared to have it done and to taken care of, and you're thinking through that process, there's almost like I don't know if you'd call it like a separation anxiety that starts to kick in. Like, you know, you think, oh, wow, this is going to be great when this is gone, you know, but it's like it actually becomes a part of you. And it's the oddest thing. You know, you're glad to get rid of it, but you need to prepare to get rid of it too, because, you know, in some ways you learn to depend on it, and it can get very convoluted in a way. So thinking through those different processes, and no, there's probably going to be, you know, if you're a chronic pain person anyway, there's still going to be pain on the other side. It's not going to be, this is not the panacea. It's not going to be gone completely. So, I'm trying not to get my hopes up too high.
Well, I think the one statement that you made on the very first video, and it was repeated on another one. Your identity is not the pain.
Yes.
You have pain, but it's not you.
Yeah.
And it's separating that from who you are. And like we talked about before, your name isn't Payne Sean Payne.
Right.
It is Sean. And that work that you're doing mentally is also part of your preparedness to get through the process.
Yeah.
Whether it alleviates 100% of it, 80% of it, 40% of it, whatever it alleviates, that you can walk into that and feel relief.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think it's wise that you look at it. One thought came to my mind is I had a friend of mine had a child that had a cleft palate. And when the child had the surgery, she missed the face of the baby with the cleft palate, which I thought was interesting.
You learned to love it. Oh, yeah.
And that was who that person was.
Yeah.
It needed fixed, but there was still that identification, which I thought was interesting. And I think sometimes as we have chronic pain or other pains that come up, we absorb them into who we are rather than saying, this is what I have, which is a different position. And I think that's important.
Yeah. Yeah. And, in some of, the things I've done in the past, and even, we can use our pain as a tool. We can use it as a weapon. We can use it as a crutch. We can use it as manipulation. We need to be, we need to have integrity about what's really going on, what's really happening with us, and not giving in to some of those other things that may be tempting. That what's real is real, and that helps the people around us to know that if he says he's hurting, he's really hurting. He's not just trying to get out of going to my parents' anniversary party. that kind of thing. That it's got to be real. If you don't want to go to the anniversary party, you say, I don't want to go. But it's not because I'm having pain. So having that integrity about it is extremely, extremely important. And that's where it becoming a part of your personnel, or a part of you. Need to be able to separate that and be honest, be an honest broker in these things.
And the honesty is critical for your relationship with those that support you,
Yes.
those that help you, but also is being honest so that you know how to ask for help when you need it, and to differentiate between those two. I think sometimes we ask for help when we want company.
Yeah. Right.
And it's being able to separate the two parts of that, because sometimes chronic pain, when you're going through a difficult time, you want support, but sometimes we don't know how to ask for it by just saying, can you just hang out with me for a little bit? And I think that that's also important to recognize, especially when you're going to have days alone, where life's going on around you, and to recognize, to say, hey, I just need some contact and talk about something else other than what time's my next bill. And
Yeah.
and to recognize that
Yeah.
I might just need some company. And that's okay. It's
Mm-hmm.
recognizing what our needs are.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Just, being honest with yourself about it, because, you can even get to the place where, you start to believe it yourself. But just, being, there's times to be rigid with ourselves. And I think that's definitely one of them is right there.
I think there's a saying that says, to thine own self be true.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we just have to work through that. Well, I think that as we kind of wind up this time, we kind of summarize it by saying, be proactive.
Yeah.
Be ready to address the needs, to look at them, to know where we can't, and to ask for help. Is there anything that you'd like to say?
It's easy to get angry with, the doctors and, the situation and all of that, but that's just wasted energy. I need as much as I can get, looking at the reality of this is where I am. This is what I need. This is what I need to do. And, the biggest thing I would say is, taking that honest look at circumstances. And I don't know about anybody else out there, but there are things in this process that I've realized that I need to change about me, myself, or the way I go about things, either because I'm aging or just because I've never liked that. And I need to try again to change that part. But the biggest thing is the honesty, is going in.
First with yourself and then to everybody else. That's
Yep.
great.
Yep.
That's, and that's advice that we need to use even when we're not having surgery,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, we hope to come back. I've got a couple of other things in mind as Sean recovers, and hopefully we'll be able to meet with him. I know he'll be on his chair, but I don't know if he's going to be willing to talk. We'll have to see how things go in the next couple of weeks.
You can talk to God for me. You can pray for me.
There you go.
I'll take every one of those.
Bucket loads.
Yes. Yeah.
Alrighty, and we're looking forward to, I do have an interview. We're putting together the pieces of another person named John that has walked with his wife through her chronic pain for over 20 years. We're hoping to put that together in the next couple of days that you'll probably see in the next week or so. I think it's good because we're going to get a different perspective, and it'll be really good. Sean, we look forward. I'm sure everybody that's watching wishes you the very best and knows that
Thank you.
that this did not catch God by surprise, but that he's going to walk you through it. So until next time.
Yeah. Thank you.
See. Bye-bye.
Yeah.